This is Chris Medeiros. Like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, Chris Medeiros. Subscribe to my channel right here, World of Chris 1-800. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. I'll be down in the description box, and I'm here to do my Boruto Naruto Next Generations episode 86 review. So here we go, discussing about Boruto episode 86. It was titled Kozuchi's Will. So yeah, that's what it was titled of this episode. Now this episode was pretty good. We finally got the whole entire story of why Inoki pretty much created the Akutas, everything pretty much, which is good now. So yeah, this episode 86, was pretty good. Now I've seen people talked about this, the arc at least, talking about how it was long, and yeah, I agree that it was a little bit too long, but this episode was pretty good, at least. So we see Inoki and Boruto now. Remember in the last episode, they finally left the, the barrier thing, grabbing the heart of stone, when they grabbed that thing and pretty much finally got all that barrier and stuff, Inoki and Boruto left Seiki and hurry up and, started talking and stuff, and that's where we left off in last week's episode. So yeah, they was talking this week's episode, and Inoki pretty much tells Boruto the whole story about Kozuchi, which is his grandson. So yeah, now if you remember when this arc first started, a couple episodes back, where Inoki and all of them came to the village, when Inoki was telling Boruto about his grandson was missing. Yeah, that was not true. Well, his grandson is gone, for sure, but, missing and all that wasn't true. But yeah, he finally tells Boruto the real truth about it. So apparently, we get the backstory of all this stuff. Apparently, Inoki, and then was living a good life, after the Great Ninja War, the Fourth Great Ninja War and all that. And Inoki, he had a grandson, Kozuchi, and, Kozuchi was always by his side and all that, and he was always around his grandpa and all that, and Inoki was, telling him everything, telling him stories about the Great Ninja War and all that, and telling him about peace and all that, how the Tsuchikage, is supposed to, have peace in the village and all that, how he's supposed to be how the Tsuchikage is supposed to be the one to protect the village and all that. So that's what Inoki was telling Kozuchi, and talking about the Will of Stone and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what Inoki was telling him. And then all of a sudden, apparently Kozuchi actually visits Inoki every day or something like that. And Inoki started being suspicious because Kozuchi didn't arrive on time like he usually does. And he was like, oh, he must be late or whatever. Didn't think nothing about it pretty much. But then we see Katsuchi, the big guy or whatever, started running towards Inoki, talking about Kozuchi is dead, pretty much. So yeah, that's what Katsuchi told Inoki, and of course Inoki talking about, oh, let's go, hurry up. And then Inoki's in the hospital. Kozuchi's badly injured. He's about to die. He finally dies and stuff. And then Inoki gets told the story of how Kozuchi dies. So apparently, it was the 5 years ago thing where Inoki was explaining to Boruto how these rogue ninjas pretty much came up and attacked the hidden stone village, and that was actually true. Apparently, they actually did came up and attack the village, but they was trying to rob the village and stuff, and Kozuchi was the only one around, and he was trying to stop it himself, but they handled him and all that, and pretty much badly injured him, make him die and stuff pretty much. And then it was before reinforcements came and helped Kozuchi fight these these rogue ninjas. So yeah, That was the pretty much the story. So yeah, Kozuchi dies from trying to protect the village at least in his way of trying to fight these rogue ninjas that invaded their village and all that. So, Noki was like all sad about it, went to his grave. It was pouring down rain, which is a pretty cool character development with Noki at least, because we don't see Inoki like sad like that at least, but he's like more, you know, how he's like, hard at heart at least in a way where, he don't take no for an answer pretty much. So yeah, we don't see Inoki like in this light or whatever. When he's somebody he loses that he loves and all that stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool character development with Inoki and stuff. And Inoki was explaining to Boruto how he created the Akutas. So apparently he created a couple of the, he had the doctor or whatever, because before the doctor came, actually, we see Kozuchi come up with a notebook or whatever, and she gave it to Noki and stuff, and apparently it was like a notebook where Kozuchi was writing in and stuff, talking about how his grandpa's great and all that stuff, and how he was to become the Tsuchikage, protect the village and all that. And, that actually had Noki breaking down pretty much after that. But then we see the that doctor guy, the scientist guy come up, like the old man or whatever, come up and talk about, oh, I got a plan to help you protect the village and stuff, and yeah, here's what we can do. And that's when they created the two Akutas, which it was like those two Akutas did not really have mind of their own, at least. Well, pretty much none of them does, but these two Akutas was like the worst, pretty much, because after, they was fighting, and after that one Akuta killed the other one, he was still beaten down, after he was already dead. So yeah, they had a lot more issues and all that, and that's why he had created the Akutas, and then pretty much he finally created Lord Ku and, Kako, that girl, Kokio, and Seiki. And that's when he finally created them, and he finally created new batches of Akutas and stuff. The Akutas that we know of today now. And yeah, that's when he created them, and that's when he was explaining to Boruto. And apparently these Akutas got like DNA or cells of the white Zetsus and all that. And Boruto was like, the white Zetsus, they're pretty dangerous and all that. And Inoki was like, yeah, I know they're pretty dangerous, but, I gotta create these Akutas to protect the village, because that's the number one priority now, is to, live out Kozuchi's will of protecting the village and all that. So yeah, now we finally understand why Inoki pretty much created the Akutas. Now, it was explained a couple episodes ago, pretty much, kind of why he created them, but he explained that the village was attacked 5 years ago, but he never said that his grandson died during the attack or anything like that. So we finally got, because when this arc first started, he didn't tell Boruto and Mitsuki and all them, yeah, my grandson died 5 years ago or anything like that. He just said his grandson was missing, like his grandson ran away or whatever. And that's when everybody came to the assumption that Lord Ku is Kozuchi's, is Inoki's grandson or whatever, but no, that wasn't true. He was just created and all that. But yeah, we finally see what Kozuchi looked like and all that, and we finally get the explanation that, yeah, he died 5 years ago when a couple of rogue ninjas came up and attacked the village trying to steal some stuff. Trying to steal some forbidden jutsus and all that stuff, the scrolls and all that. So yeah, we finally got the answer about that and why he created the Akutas and Lord Ku and all of them. And yeah, that's what happened there. But then we cut to a scene with Shikadai. Now Shikadai is trying to, watching the Akutas and stuff, because apparently finally the Akutas and Lord Ku and all of them finally, kind of invaded the village. Now everybody knows pretty much who they are, what they look like and all that, because they were roaming through the village and stuff. and Lord Ku goes into the Tsuchikage's office and stuff, and pretty much beats down the shinobis that was there, like the guards or whatever, beat them down, tied them up and all that. And apparently they're going to be doing something with the shinobis because Lord Ku was chilling in the Tsuchikage's chair, pretty much. And apparently they got five ninjas or whatever. And they got them all tied up and stuff. So apparently what Lord Ku said was, yeah, we're going to be ripping out their hearts to extend our life pretty much longer. So yeah, Lord Ku and them was not pretty good. Now, Inoki created them to have peace in the village and stuff, but nah, with Lord Ku, yeah, he will try to do peace, but first, he's going to try to live, you know. That's what Lord Ku's saying, pretty much. He said he's going to rip out all five of these shinobi's hearts and put them in each one of them to live longer and all that. So yeah, that's what Lord Ku said. But apparently we find out the lifespan, what Inoki said about Lord Ku and them, so apparently they was not created that long ago at least, where apparently they can only live up to a year or several months or not even a day pretty much. So pretty much Lord Ku's like more better than Seiki and all them in a way, so he's probably the one that can live like a year or whatever, a little bit over a year, and then like Seiki and them could probably live like a couple of months. So yeah, we actually learned about that. So yeah, apparently Lord Ku and all them hasn't been around for that long at least. So yeah, that's what Inoki actually said. And apparently they got like white Zetsu cells in them or something like that. So yeah, but yeah, the backstory where Inoki telling Boruto about his grandson dying and all that was pretty good at least. Now this episode was pretty good, and then we see Kako, one of them that was created by Inoki and stuff with the long red hair and stuff, comes up and pretty much he goes, oh, hey master and all that, and then he's ready to fight Boruto. So yeah, in the next episode we're going to see Boruto versus Kako up next in the next episode. And then yeah, we're going to see Sarah, Chocho, and Inojin fight the girl. I keep on forgetting what's her name, but the one with the dojutsu, at least, her in the next episode as well. So yeah, Boruto versus Kako, and Sarada and all of them versus that girl in the next episode 87 next week. So yeah, that'll be the next episode. But yeah, this week's episode, Boruto, was pretty good. I liked it. We finally know the backstory about what happened 5 years ago. So apparently 5 years ago in this timeline, 5 years ago, Kozuchi pretty much died, and then we learned that, yeah, Lord Ku and all of them probably not even a year old yet or whatever like that. So yeah, they was not created that long ago. So yeah, but yeah, like, pretty good episode. We finally learned about how why the Akutsus was really created and stuff, and we finally figured out about Noki's grandson, Kozuchi, and all that. So we finally got everything filled in now in this episode. So yeah, this episode was pretty good. There was no action or nothing in this episode. But yeah, this episode was pretty good though. I'll give this episode a 8 out of 10 stars. That's what I'll give it, because the storytelling of this episode was pretty good. Even though there wasn't no fighting or nothing, the storytelling of this episode was on point at least. So yeah, I like this episode of Boruto, but hopefully next week's episode, when they start fighting and stuff, hopefully the fight scenes will be pretty good and stuff. And hurry up, and they'll possibly hurry up and finish this arc at least. But yeah, like I said, pretty good episode for this week's episode of Boruto. Like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel, Word of Chris 1-800. Subscribe to my other channel, Chris Medeiros. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. Yeah, I'll be down there in the description box. And comment on this video about what you guys think about this week's episode of Boruto. In my opinion, it was pretty good. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 stars. If you have yet, go check it out. But yeah, I will see you guys later until next week's Boruto episode. See you guys later until then.